Joining us now, the White House COVID response coordinator, Dr. Ashish Jha. Dr. Jha, thank you for joining us this morning. This triple-demic, is it the result in some ways of COVID? And how will the White House, the CDC, the government get their arms around this as so many children now are falling ill?
Yeah, good morning, and thanks for having me back. Obviously, a concerning situation here. We've got 3 respiratory viruses that are circulating and growing, RSV, influenza, and COVID. The good news, Mika, is that we're not powerless against this, right? They've got really high-quality vaccines against 2 of them, against both flu and COVID. And those vaccines keep kids, they keep adults out of the hospital. So that's sort of priority number 1. It's got to make sure that, at least for those 2 of the 3, we help keep hospitals and healthcare systems, from getting overburdened, and we protect people by getting people vaccinated. So, number 1 thing people can do right now is go out and get the new COVID vaccine, go get their flu shot. That'll make an enormous difference. RSV, most kids, it's mild. For a small number of kids, especially youngest ones, they can get sick from it. So obviously taking care of children, making sure we have plenty of healthcare capacity and the ability to take care of those kids, very, very important.
Dr. Jha, what about RSV? What can parents do to try to keep their children from contracting it if you still want them to go to preschool, you still want them to go out into the world and enjoy life? What mitigation measures do you recommend?
Yeah, so RSV is a respiratory virus, and again, for most kids, most adults, it's pretty mild. We've all had RSV in our lives. The main recommendations are obviously avoiding sick contacts. If your kid is sick, keeping them home. If the play date is with a kid who's sick, avoiding that. Washing hands is really important. As opposed to COVID, where it's mostly airborne RSV, there's also some amount of surface transmission, and therefore washing hands can be really important there. So there's a series of things parents can do to keep their kids safe. Again, for most of the times, it'll end up being pretty mild. Obviously, if your kid gets sick and starts having any problems with breathing, got to get them seen early by a doctor, by your pediatrician, to avoid things getting worse.
Good morning, Dr. Jha. It's Jonathan Lemire. I'll see you over at the White House a little later today. The president is getting his bivalent COVID booster in an effort to raise awareness for Americans. But let me get you on this. The percentage of Americans who have taken the shot in the low single digits. Barely anyone has, for the record. I got mine about 10 days ago. But for health experts, really worry here that COVID rates are about to start surging again coming into the winter months, potentially some new variants on the horizon as well. What can you guys do right now to convince Americans to get another shot?
Yeah, so first of all, more than 20 million Americans have gotten the vaccine. I think it's a good start. What you're going to hear from the president today is laying out how both we're in a very different moment than where we were a year or 2 years ago, but also the importance of keeping ourselves, our families protected, and that how it is a shared responsibility. He's going to call on businesses to make it easy for people to get vaccinated, to run vaccine clinics. We're going to hear from pharmacy leaders who are talking about what major pharmacy chains are doing to make this easier and for people to come get vaccinated. This really needs to be an all of society effort, because look, if people get sick, if people end up getting if our healthcare system ends up getting overwhelmed, all of us are going to feel the effects of that, right? So therefore, it really is a collective effort. Obviously, we're going to be doing our part. We are doing our part on this, making vaccines and treatments widely available and free. But this is really going to be a collective responsibility, and you're going to hear the president call on others to step up and do their part as well.
Dr. Ashish Jha, thank you very much for coming on this morning.
That's really something. I mean, there's a lot to worry about.
Yeah, there is, especially for parents. But please get your booster, get your flu shot.
Yeah.
You're getting one today.
Am I getting one today?
You're getting one today.
Hey.